week 4 of the spring trimester. So this week is all about resolving the painting, and so I'm really looking at the painting, taking everything in as a whole, thinking about the big picture. So I was finding different ways that I could really let things fall away, push details down, or let forms blend in together so the impression of the painting stands as a whole painting and nothing gets too distracting. An example of that would be the hands, especially the hand that is on his hip, the one that he has 2 fingers that are tucked down, 2 fingers that are out, and his thumb that's going behind his hip. Now this hand, when I first painted it, I was trying to think about planes, and so I painted the top portion of the hands, the 2 fingers that are down, and then also the 2 fingers separated that are out. And as I was resolving it, I was really looking straight at the hand and painting it. So I had the borders of each finger, showing where the finger stopped, putting in the details of the hand. And I really wasn't liking this because it was distracting. And that's the thing about hands and fingers, is that they're small forms, so if you're painting them, especially looking right at them, you're painting them, you're showing the borders of everything, it's just going to be a lot of contrast. This painting, I wanted it to be more about the light, the atmosphere of the whole painting. And so I don't want anyone's eyes to be drawn to the hands, especially not stop at them. I'd rather, if they're going to stop anywhere, it would be more up in this area. So what I did to fix the problem of the hands being distracting is I started to paint the impression of the hands. So painting the impression of the hands and how the hands fit in with the whole impression of the painting is, you don't look directly at them. I mean, you're going to have to look at them to paint them, but it's more of like a quick, you look at them and you kind of look back up to the focal point. And so when I was doing that, I was noticing that especially the 2 fingers that are out, you actually don't see them as a contrasty area with borders. The fingers actually blend in pretty seamlessly to the light that's going up the leg into the hip into that stomach shadow. And so that's what I did. So I lost the edges and just blended the finger forms and the hip forms together. Also, another example too was the side of the hand that was up against his stomach going into the shadow. The hand's really bright, so the hand was casting a reflected light into the shadow of the stomach, and so it made those tones really close together, so that edge between the stomach shadow and the hand was pretty lost anyway, because the values were so close together there wasn't a lot of contrast anyways, and so that's how I painted it. And I definitely like how the hand looks a lot better. I think it's not distracting. It kind of has this warm glow, which how it does in nature. I'm still finding the best way where I can find and lose edges in these areas, so I have 1 more week on this painting, so I'll keep resolving and figuring that out this week. And then for my cast, just like the figure, is all about resolving. And I was taking lessons that I was learning in the figure painting to the cast painting, seeing where I could let things fall away if anything was too distracting. In my cast painting, I really wasn't liking the focal point, which is not good. So the focal point in this is the lightest area, which is her hair is super bright and it goes down to her forehead. I really like how I've been painting the forehead, but the hair, it just wasn't looking, at first it was looking too cottony, like you couldn't knock on it because it didn't look like plaster. And then it was looking too overmodeled, like there's too much contrast in the details where it has all of the grooves. And so Matt said something to me that really, really helped, and it's just a way that you can flip it in your mind to figure out how you're going to paint it to make it look better. And so what he said was to think of the hair like Lego pieces. So the hair is made up pretty much into 3 pieces, 3 big pieces. So you have the part that's right here, part right here, that goes up into a curl, and then you have that braid that's on the top part of her head. And he said if you think about it like Lego pieces, if you were to take the hair and pull those 3 big pieces off or put them back together, what it would feel like, to how you would hold on to it to pull them apart or put them together, and even what it would sound like doing that. And so if you're thinking about pulling or putting together the Lego hair, you wouldn't be going in those tiny little grooves in the hair because you wouldn't have anything to hold on to then. You wouldn't be able to pull them apart. You would hold on to or like grab onto the bigger planes of it. And so even though that's kind of silly thinking about like Lego pieces, it just kind of flips it into a visual thing being more tangible concept of how to break it down. And so then you're thinking the planes have to be the most important thing, and then the detail that's on it should always be secondary to that. And so I spent all this week resolving the cast, and I kind of feel like, I don't know if it's done. It feels kind of done. Like I guess I don't know what else I can do to make it better. It's usually at this time that Matt and Magda, like, they really push you then for another week or two. So I guess we'll see what they say on Monday.